Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bedomy and this is Among Us, a cartoony survival space horror game developed by Innerslot that is pretty popular among today's streamers and players alike. Since I'm fairly new to the game, I called in an experienced player to help me out with this review. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Wertij. Wertij, welcome to the show.
Greetings everyone, and thank you for inviting me for the episode. I'm very honored by this.
Don't mention it, Wert. You'd made a lot of thumbnails for the channel, so this is the least I could do for you, buddy.
Which I'm very glad I can work with you on this channel. Thank you again, buddy.
Nothing to it. Now then, let's take a look at the game in front of us. Wert, how would you describe Among Us to a new player?
Basically, Among Us is about spaceship go wrong. You're going to be placed with up to 9 other players on one of the 3 maps. Scaled, Mirai HQ, and Pulse. There's 2 roles, crewmates and impostors. As an impostor, you have to kill every crewmate you can, don't get caught, sabotage the map, and trick people to vote off the wrong person. As a crewmate, you run around, fix whatever is broken or something, and try to not get killed. That's game in a nutshell.
So basically, Among Us is a cartoony version of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes, indeed, that's one way to describe it. Game is very simple, but also very hard. Simple because visuals and controls are very easy to learn, and tasks aren't complicated, most of them at least, yet hard because one wrong move and you're either dead or thrown into the space void or whatnot.
You mentioned voting. Does the game feature a voice chat of its own, or do you need anything specific to play the game?
Well, it only have text chat if you play with randoms, sadly. And to voice chat with friends, you need Discord or other platforms if you want to talk to your friends like by voice, which kinda sucks, right?
Indeed it does. Thankfully, the game lets you adjust the text chat and voting timers so you can play Sherlock Holmes for as long as you wish when the dead body is discovered. But there is a downside to this idea. If people are playing over Discord or TeamSpeak, they can actually agree on who to vote off and tell each other who did what before the random player can even tell their side of the story, or even vote for the matter.
Well, yeah, but luckily there are rules that everyone have to follow unless they are small kids. My point is that everyone need to know the rules to not ruin the fun for others, or they will end up kicked out from the party. But that's not a topic for this video, and we won't debate because it's a game review.
Fair enough. So let's take a look at the game in front of us.
Okay, after you.
Alright then. As you can see, we are currently roaming around the spaceship as characters and have to complete the tasks generated for us. These are assigned randomly, so every crew member has a different set of tasks to complete. You can always check the map to see where you need to go, but you will have to search the area you're in order to find highlighted objects in order to interact with them. Every task has a simple minigame that can be completed quickly, but it will obscure your screen so you won't be able to see what's going on around you.
That's true, hence why be sure you can do them with someone you can trust, or at least 100% alone. Also, in terms of tasks, imposters get fake ones that they can pretend they do, but actually they don't. But they can be busted if someone spot that taskbar does not move and they walk away from the task. But there are also special tasks called visual tasks, where you can see if someone do them or not. Like for example, in the medbay or weapons firing animations. They prove who is and who is not the imposter.
Interesting. I haven't seen those tasks often, so I'm guessing those are fairly rare. Granted, the maps do have a decent size to them, so there's a big possibility I just missed those tasks entirely. Which brings up an interesting topic. The map sizes themselves. You cannot simply go from one room to the next. You have to plan your route in a manner that will let you complete your tasks in a quick and efficient manner, all the while avoiding the imposters and other incriminating actions.
Yes, that's the case, and actually on Polus and Scale there are two visual tasks, while on Mira HQ is only medbay. So yeah, they are rare, but at least one person will have it to do. And that's true that some tasks are very long, like download or reactor memory puzzle, which make you the most vulnerable. So it's a good thing to do them with first. And about jumping to one room to another, imposters can use vents to warp around the map. While most of them have limited range, Mira HQ have all of them connected, which some people call them infinite vent.
While we are on the subject of maps, you mentioned there was 3 of them, but so far we've only played on the spaceship. Are the other 2 maps unpopular, or do you need to play Scott a certain amount of times in order to unlock them? I understand that the map numbers are limited because players need to memorize the rooms and the layouts of the map in order to discuss them, but I am curious, why are we always on the same map?
Well, Skeld is just the iconic map of the game, same with popularity. Other 2 are accessible from the start, just a little less popular, but in the menu you can set filter on the certain maps. And you can play only, for example, Mira HQ, and just turn off 2 other maps and there, you play only on Mira lobbies. Same with number of impostors, from 1 to 3. And also languages, but I advise to set only on English for sake of simplicity.
Speaking of simple, the art style is a perfect example of simple yet effective. As an artist, could you tell us your thoughts on it? Personally, I think the style and the game's mechanics are simple because they would stress the player's phones, which were the original platforms for the game.
Yes, which also on the side note does keep update for the old gen phones so they can run the game. Back to the topic. Yes, despite cartoony and simple graphic, the sound and tension is building up just because of the like animation kills make you jump. Due to the quick red flash and loud sound following up with animation when you get killed.
It's kind of sad that the audio cues don't play a bigger role in the game. I mean, just think about the amount of tension the game would have if you heard something happening close to you and you couldn't check it out. Granted, the imposters cannot kill you immediately since their killing animations are on a cooldown period, which can be adjusted by the host of the game. But to be fair, just knowing that there is a bunch of crazy killers running loose on the ship is unnerving enough.
Yeah, kinda sucks that sound from around you aren't played, but also I think it's because the game code, from what I heard, is very old one, and even though you can hear stuff from around you, like killing sound, doors closing can be heard, and also vents opening can be seen even when it's not in your field of view. About impostors, yes, it's scary to know that someone can backstab you while while his friend covering him.
Fair enough. On the bright side, the game has a crossplay feature so you can play it with your friends as a party game. Just make sure those are the friends you can live without if you're gonna do it.
That's a great feature indeed, and I have to agree on the second one.
Now that I think about it, I need to make a few calls. Be right back.
Sure thing. Take your time, mate.
What you just saw was a small demonstration of what the imposter does in the game. When no one's looking, you have to kill crew members and lie your way out of a tough spot once the body is discovered. You can distract the crew members by sabotaging the ship's systems or cause a core meltdown, and that will result in an immediate victory for the imposter if the issue isn't resolved in a matter of immediately or just to give you enough time to kill another crew member.
Ouch. Welp, I died. But that doesn't mean I can slack around, cause crewmates goals have to finish the task they didn't before death, so they can secure the win for the team. While ejected impostors can still cause sabotages.
And that about covers the first half of the game. And now here's where the game's social interaction begins. Once a body is discovered, a meeting begins and players have to discuss the situation at hand. By the end of the said discussion, the players can vote to kill off one character if they suspect him to be an imposter.
That's right, but since nobody knows who is the imposters unless they witness murder with their bare eyes, people might vote off innocent person. Also fun fact, if body gets reported but there's also other bodies somewhere else, they all disappear in the next round when there's an emergency meeting or body found.
Not to mention that everyone is automatically notified of their death when the meeting starts. And there's where the game gets interesting. People lie, manipulate, or just goof around before the voting phase is over, which is one of the main reasons why the game is so popular on Twitch and other social media. It shows how devious we can get in any situation, with a rather comical end. But all things considered, the community seems a bit toxic.
To be honest, all communities have some toxic people, but I can disagree. And the voting part is indeed the most fun part of the game.
Yes. Too bad people tend to skip it in order to vote off anybody they don't like. But for its asking price, the game is a fun experience you can quickly download and play. It takes a while to learn the map layouts and social cues that won't get you killed on the spot, but once you do, you will discover a more entertaining version of an online chat room.
Yeah, people does tend to kick off someone just because they don't like, but that's rare case. Mostly it's just because peer pressure though. Endgame is great for quick rounds with friends or when you're bored in train or something. Especially that people who can afford on Steam they can play free on mobiles.
Exactly. Wait, it's free on mobile?
Yeah, you didn't know?
Ow!